What is the law of karma according to yoga philosophy? And have we experienced this law working in our lives? So, dear friends, as we see that there are laws on which this life functions, there are man-made laws like the law of following the traffic rules. If you follow, you are safe. If you do not follow, then you may be punished. In that sense, there are certain physical laws. We are aware of the law of gravity. We are aware of the Newton's law of motion. There is a beautiful law, which works in physics, which is the law of action and reaction. So every action produces equal and opposite reaction. Now, these are the laws which are working at the physical level, But as you ascend higher, even at the level of the psyche, there are certain rules, there are certain laws decided by the nature. They are not decided by us. But if we are intelligent enough, we will understand those eternal laws. And these eternal laws only are called as Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana means eternal, Dharma means the law. So among them, one of the law is the law of karma. And a person who lives his life according to these eternal laws is called as a Hindu, or a person who believes in those cosmic laws and says that I want to live my life intelligently according to those laws. And when this law of karma comes, we go into the traditional text and try to understand it. So here, Patanjali's Yoga Sutra gives this beautiful shloka in the 4th chapter. Karma ashukla akrishnam yoginaha trividham itaresham. The actions of the yogi are neither white nor black, but the actions of others are threefold. They are white, black, and the shades of the gray. So when the actions are done, with a sense of doership, when you have this white or black can also be called as the raga and dvesha, attraction and aversion. With these emotions, if we do the action, they are called as klesha. If the karma is colored by the klesha, then what we observe is that they bear fruit and they have to be processed in the nature. Now, how they are processed is not in our hand. Only thing in our hand is to do the action. Patanjali further, in a very subtle way, gives this another law. He says, Tataha tad vipak anugunanam iva abhivyaktir vasananam. So those actions, whether they are white, they are black, they are gray, are processed to generate fruits. That processing is a different mechanism. That software is different. But according to the fruit of the action only, the vasanas, the latent desires become manifest. What does this mean? That say, for example, I have done a shukla karma, a white karma, a good karma, and I deserve Swargaloka for that. Swargaloka means any beautiful experience that you had with your loved ones. So I go on a trip, to a very beautiful hill station with my family, and I have a wonderful time with them. This is Swarga. Now, the shloka says that because of certain way of doing the actions, a certain fruit has been generated. Now, towards that fruit only the desires come up. So I get a desire to go for a vacation. Why does that desire come in my heart? Because the fruit for that kind of karma to give me good experience has ripened. So when the fruit ripens, it generates a desire towards that fruit. So we see that, in the sayings also they say that vinashakale viparita buddhi. When a person's bad experience is going to come up, his buddhi also starts functioning like that. He starts doing things like that. So in that way, we have to understand that the tendencies or the desires that we get to go somewhere, to experience certain place or to travel somewhere. All those things are coming because of the processing of our past karma. It wants to take us there to go through that karma. When we look at the yogic philosophy properly in Adi Shankaracharya's Manisha Panchakam, we see these mention of these three kinds of karma. One is Sanchita, other is Prarabdha, and the next one is Kriyamana. What is this Sanchita karma? Sanchita karma is the impressions or the results of accumulated results of all the past actions that we have done in all our past lives. This is a huge heap. From that heap, one set is chosen to be exhausted or experienced in this life. It is known as the Prarabdha karma. Now, the situations of the current life, where I am born, who will be my parents, who will be my brother, what kind of relatives I will have, who will be my husband or wife, what will be my lifespan, when I am going to get an accident, when I am going to get a lottery, when I am going to get property or wealth. All these things are the landmarks that are decided in the Prarabdha. You have born with that. Now, with those set points which are fixed, in between those points, there is flexibility. How I respond to my Prarabdha is Kriyamana. And in responding to my Prarabdha, I create new karmas which are experienced in the present life also, or they also become a part of my Sanchita karma later on if they are not exhausted in the present life. This is known as Kriyamana. So, dear friends, another example that I can give you is, in Mahabharata, Dhritarashtra asked Krishna at the end. He said that I was born blind. In my life, I suffered a lot to have children. Finally, I got 100 children. And then I am such an old man. And I see that in this lifespan, only all my 100 children died in front of my eyes. What kind of suffering is this? And what karma did I do to have this kind of fruit? Then Krishna asked him, have you looked into your past lives? No, you have not done any such karma in the present life. Because he had a boon, Dhritarashtra could go 3 janmas back. So he said, yes, I have looked. I have looked into my past life. There was no such karma. I have looked into my life even before that. There was no such karma. Even before that, there was no such karma. Then why did I get this? Then Krishna tells him, not only these 3 lives, what about the lives before that? So here Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna, tanyaham veda sarvani, na tvam vedha parantapa. O Arjuna, both you and me have had many, many births. You have forgotten them, but I remember them all. Buddha remembered all of them. So how many are they? How many are they? How long do I have to go back? A certain event, because this heap of Prarabdha has come from Sanchita. Now that Sanchita, how much is it? How much is that Sanchita? So here, Tasanam Anaditvam. It is, you can say that it is eternal, it is endless. The desire to live from the life that we were a bacteria till now, the karmas are infinite. So you have to imagine as if there is a well which is filled with water, full to the brim with water, and from that you take 1 spoon and put into a bowl. That 1 spoon is your Prarabdha, whereas the whole well that is filled with water is the Sanchita karma. But yeah, in this life, whatever that has come in that spoon only will come. And within that spoon that you have, the kind of experiences that are predetermined, destined, within that you have the freedom to play around. The example that we can give here is, what is the freedom there? Say, for example, if you play cards, the cards are shuffled and distributed. Now everybody gets a set of cards. Now you cannot do anything with those set of cards that you have got. But now you have to play. Now a person who is a good player, who is intelligent, who understands, how to play around the game of cards, he will, from his own cards, even if they are not good cards, by playing intelligently, he can win the game. Whereas another person who doesn't have that knowledge, even if he gets very good cards, if he is dumb, he will mess it up and lose the game. So in the same way, we are all born with certain conditions. We have certain kind of face, certain kind of body. We have certain limits of our intellect. We have certain amount of wealth, certain kind of relatives, certain kind of experiences, good or bad, that have happened. That taking all of them together, we in between also have the freedom of how to respond to them, how to evolve ourselves. So this is eternal. This is eternal. So Krishna also again says in Bhagavad Gita that people who aspire on the path of yoga within their kriyamana karma, in this life, prarabdha is fixed, but the kriyamana, how I am responding to them and how I am creating newer actions, or going to the path of yoga where I am able to perform the karma which is ashukla or akrishna, generating the karma which does not result in such kind of a bondage. Then Krishna says that such a person who has aspired in his last life again wants to be reborn. Tatratam buddhi sanyogam labhate paurvadaihikam. Again he emphasizes the concept of past janma, says that in the previous bodies, whatever buddhi sanyoga or yoga that a person had done, yatato cha tato bhuyaha, he again gets that knowledge back. Samsiddho kuru nandana. By some stimuli, again that is evoked, and again he tries towards perfection. As I said, the Swargaloka, Nargaloka, Krishna says that this Swargaloka is experienced here on this earth also, and there are such lokas above also. There are such lokas where te tam bhuktva Swargalokam vishalam, huge Swargaloka, kshina punya marta lokam vishanti. So whatever action that people have done, if they have done a lot of shukla karma, good karmas, they go to those vishala Swargalokas, experience all the kind of desire that they have there in terms of their sense pleasures, whatever satisfaction they wanted, and after that their punya gets shina, and they again come back to martya lokam, this particular earth, they again come back. So therefore, those who follow the Vedic rituals only for karma kanda, the initial part of it, only to do the havana and all the procedures to get the desired results, they keep on going into this cycle of going into Swargaloka, coming back to Martya Loka, and this cycle keeps repeating. Whereas people who worship different kind of devas, you may be inspired by different kind of energies, different kind of forces, so those go to them. Those who worship the pitras, the ancestors, they go to them. Whereas those who worship the ghosts or the negative energies, they go to them. There are different kind of worshippers who worship different kind of energies and tendencies. They go to those tendencies and energies, whereas those who worship me, they come to me. Therefore, what is the way out? If this Sanchita is so vast, so infinite, and I have only a small kriyamana of this life to just face my current prarabdha, what is it that I can do? How to burn away all the positive, all the negative karmas or all the karmas that are there in my Sanchita? Prarabdha you can't do, you have to go through it. But can the Sanchita be burnt? Can the whole Sanchita be destroyed? So Here Krishna says, Yat karoshi, yad ashnashi, yad juhoshi, dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer as oblation to sacred fire, what is this? It is any karma that we are doing in the nature. There you, oh son of Kunti, you just do it for my sake. You do madarpanam, offer it to me. Then what will happen? Shubh ashubh phalair evam mokshase karma bandhane. The karma which is giving you shubha or ashubha phala, you will be freed from that karma bandhana. Sannyasa yoga yukta atma vimukto mamu paishyasi. With your mind attached to me, through the practice of renunciation, you will be liberated. So there is a possibility that we can come out of all that. But the way out that has been described is that one starts dedicating all the actions to the divine. Even if you do not believe in God, the 18th chapter, 46th shloka, this is my favorite shloka from Bhagavad Gita. Yataha pravrittir bhutani. From the creator from which all the bhutas have come, all the jivas have come, yena sarvam idam tatam. One which is engulfing everything, covering everything from within and around, that Atman, that consciousness. Swakarmana tam abhyarcha. Do your karma according to your own prarabdha, according to your own tendencies, tam abhyarcha, by worshipping that, surrendering to that. Just by doing the actions like this, siddhim vindati manavaha. A human being attains the siddhi, the perfection. So dear friends, among all the things, the easiest is to cultivate this feeling of devotion and bhakti, because the universe is so vast. This life is so complex. You can't say anything, a person who is born blind, a person who has certain kind of disaster happening to him, certain kind of accident happening to him. How can you say, that this person is good or the person is bad? Because the sanchita is so deep, so deep. Even anything can happen to any person. Even if the person is too good, even if I am a person who was born like this and have done a lot of spiritual activities, even next moment some disaster can happen to me, because it is the prarabdha is not coming from this life. It is coming from the heap of the sanchit karma. Any of that would have been chosen. And definitely in my past life, there are moments when all of us, including Krishna, including everybody, would have been ignorant, would have been, in that kind of a situation where we would have done a lot of Krishna karmas, lot of such karmas, which would have the disastrous effect. So therefore, it doesn't work in a simple way, like in this life I did this, therefore I am going through this. And by that law, anybody can experience any kind of a situation. But how you take it, how you respond to it, and how you use these precious moments. Krishna says, Bahunam Janmanam. After many lives, a person gets this kind of an awareness that he's caught up into this web of karma. And then he doesn't do anything else. He just focuses on me, the supreme consciousness, and performs all the actions every moment dedicated to me, because he wants to be free. So with this intensity, dear friends, we should get into our yoga sadhana. Whatever state of mind that you achieve in the morning, remember that Atman is the one where you should dedicate the actions throughout the day. Thank you. Namaste.